All right, for something different here, we're going to be looking mostly here at some junk wax era stuff here. And I got this. This was some free stuff that came from an eBay seller, ATY CLB 2001. And I bought a couple boxes of 81 Donruss wax from the seller. And the seller throws in some free stuff. And so a lot of cool junk wax era stuff, but junk wax, not necessarily meaning a derogatory term, it's just that they produce so much of it during this time, but it's still fun stuff to open. Also some singles. We'll look at those first. I'm going to hide this one of them. So we've got a couple of rookies here in the 86 Topps set, and I've already done a couple of videos on 86 Topps. This is a traded set, Danny Tartabull and Kevin Mitchell. And then in the 88 Topps traded set, we have a couple players from the USA team, Jim Abbott and Robin Ventura, both of whom had pretty good careers. Then we have a 95 Sports Flicks. Now this is after I was done collecting. I pretty much stopped in, I think, about 90, maybe 91, but so this was past my time. So they have the kind of the couple of different poses there, and it's interesting because what they write on the back here: a bum left heel, tripped up mark the past 2 seasons, but if he is healthy in 1995, pitchers beware. He is one of baseball's most productive power hitters, and they certainly got that one right. In 95, he hit 39 home runs in just 2/3 of a season. Then he went on his tear of 4 straight years with over 50 home runs, peaking at 70 home runs in 98. Of course, chemically enhanced, but still, they definitely got that right. And when we have some packs here of the Sports Flicks that we'll open up. Then some 85 Donruss Hall of Famers. So we got Robin Yount, George Brett, Cal Ripken Jr., Diamond Kings, also Tony Gwynn Diamond Kings, Ryne Sandberg, Rickey Henderson. Not a Hall of Famer, but Hall of Fame numbers, Pete Rose, the gambler. And then we have this one. This is kind of interesting. This is Danny Ainge. This is his 81 Fleer card. And he's best known for playing for the Celtics for a long time. But he was a multi-sport athlete and actually gave baseball a shot. And so you can see here he played a little bit for the Blue Jays in 79 and 80. His career didn't last very much beyond that. He wasn't a very good player at the major league level. I mean, he got to the majors, but at that level he was kind of mediocre, and went on to bigger and better things in the NBA. And then this is really cool. This is a 1972, of course, Horace Clarke. The 72, I like that. I like that set. I have a bunch. I actually have about half of the set from my childhood, mostly the commons, because I bought some bulk lot of about 300 commons out of that set way back in the late 80s or early 90s. But it's pretty cool to include a 72, and in pretty good shape too. It's got decent corners, so that's kind of a nice card. So, as far as the opening these, let's actually open this one first. So this is something I didn't know existed. This is a Score 1981 Baseball Superstars, player cards, and Magic Motion trivia cards. And and this doesn't have any huge value, so there's no point in not opening it. We'll see what's in here. So we've got styrofoam. Here are the motion cards. So World Series Trivia, 1968, 1969, 1970, 1971, 1972, and 1974. Okay. Okay, I thought maybe these were questions, but I guess this is just talking about what happened in the 68 World Series, 69 World Series, the Mets, the Miracle Mets, 70, which was Brooks Robinson series. He made a couple of great defensive plays in the 80 series for the Orioles. 71 here, we have the Pirates beating the Reds. Pirates beating the Orioles. Sorry. 82. Here's the A's beating the Reds. I had the Reds in the wrong year. And then 74 was the A's winning their third straight, beating the Dodgers. So those are 6 of those motion trivia cards. I'm not sure that's, I don't know, maybe they were testing something there. That's not exactly the most impressive thing. So the cards here, let's see, I'm looking here at the numbering here. So 90, okay, so looks like there are 100 cards. They got them packed in 10s, but kind of in a weird order. So they have like, there's 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30. Okay, well that's interesting. So these are going to be just, these are basically going to be stars. I'm not going to look through all of them, but I assume these are going to be just the best players in the league at the time in 91. So that looks like what we've got here. We've got going to be some future Hall of Famers in here, but a lot of, but otherwise other good players. It's a nice action shot of George Brett swinging. The ball must be just off frame there, barely. It'd been nice if they had advanced one more and had the ball in the frame. George, a certain Hall of Famer, had himself a frisky time in 90, his 18th season in the majors. He hit for the cycle for the second time in his career, had his 44th 4-hit game, and ran up a 17-game hitting streak. AL July Player of the Month. Yada yada. Okay, so that's interesting. Howard Johnson. Howard is a completely selfless star third baseman who bats everywhere in the lineup and plays short in an emergency without complaint. Oh, God. Throwing a wicked... Chuck Finley throwing a wicked forkball in a deceptive delivery, blah, blah, blah. Fred McGriff. So, anyway, still kind of a neat... I mean, this would have been... I would have probably still liked having this set in 91, but so it's a nice little thing here. I'll have to look and see if any of the Hall of Fame cards are ever worth grading. Probably not, but you never know. So I will put that. Actually, we'll put that back in the box. And of course, it doesn't all fit in the box now that I took it out once. Okay. Jeez, all right, well, deal with that later. Okay, so now let's open the pack. So Sports Flicks, these are kind of notorious for, I think, for sticking together a little bit, but we'll see if that, see how that works. But anyway, so this one here, I was fumbling around with them and it partly opened already, so it didn't come that way. It was just a very loose pack. So got Hal Morris. Valentine, I've already forget his first name. John Valentine, yeah. Bernie Williams, Kevin Appier. I was not only was I not collecting, I was not really following baseball. I was in grad school at this point, and if you're serious about that, you're not messing around with trivial stuff like this. And then Orlando Merced. Second pack. Dave Nilsson, don't even remember that name. Will Cordero, Pat Hentgen, Roger McDowell, and Brett Saberhagen. That must be toward the end, close to the end of his career. Fairly close, I guess, not quite, maybe. Okay. Floyd, what the hell was his name? Cliff Floyd, yeah. Pedro Alvarez. no, Wilson Alvarez, Pedro. Wilson Alvarez. See, that this shows you how I don't really... I know the major stars from this era, but not... okay, and of course, Todd Zeile. Do remember him. Gary Sheffield. Andy Bennis. Showing him bunting. Lewis. Who the hell is Lewis? Darren Lewis. Okay. Of course, Dennis Eckersley. Hard to miss him. Oops. And then Greg Jeffries. Dominic Wilkins. No. What's his first name? Rick Wilkins. And then Moises Alou. So we had that Mark McGwire from the singles. That may be the best card out of the set that we got. Okay, so let's go. Let's see. Let's save the tops, and let's go ahead and open up the 89 score. So in the 89 score, the big, the most important rookies here are the for the rookie Hall of Famers, John Smoltz and Randy Johnson. Gary Sheffield, I think, was probably pretty valuable then too, but of course he didn't. His career wasn't quite as great as it would have been. So speaking of Hall of Famers, right off the bat, we've got Andre Dawson. The back here, I think I probably sort of collected these. Maybe not very seriously, but nice looking card. They've got all the stats here, and with the small print, they've got room to have some text on them. Of course, this was when he was with the Cubs after having all those great years at the Expos. Billy Ripken on a normal card, not not an error card or anything. Pete O'Brien, Robin Yount, another Hall of Famer. Mike Schmidt, another Hall of Famer. Oh, we got another We got another World Series trivia here. 1957. A year to remember. Okay. Luis Salazar, Bob Brenly. He had some good years. Frank White, longtime second baseman for the Royals. Neil Allen, Darryl Boston, Jim DeShays, John Costello, don't remember him. Rene Gonzalez, Paul Gibson. Okay, so I missed this live, but this Paul Gibson card, this is kind of an infamous card. This is the crotch grab card. So we see here in the background something that they probably didn't really want to put on a baseball card. And I believe there was a version of this, maybe a version of this produced later that they erased that. But in any case, this is kind of an infamous kind of funny little card. Not certainly not as collectible and interesting as the Billy Ripken F-Ace card, but still kind of a silly thing there. Okay, now back to the break. And Greg Jeffries, we had him in the Sport Flicks. So these were originally picked up 2 for $1 at Walgreens. Probably a little bit on sale, but I suspect these could have been something like 59 or 69 cents or something. Andy Allenson, Glenn Hubbard, Gary Pettis, Speedster, Charlie Liebrandt, Glenn Braggs, Dwayne Bruce, 1965. That was the Dodgers winning World Series. Sandy Koufax was the star there. John Cerruti, Rafael Santana, Jeff Robinson, Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. That looks like a pretty good cut there. Tom Pagnozzi, of course, Balboni, a longtime player for the Royals. Tom Pagnozzi, Tommy John, Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt, one of the wildest pitchers of all time. He ended up having a fairly long career, and the one of the most amazing stats on Bobby Witt in his in 1986, his second start for the Rangers, I think it was still in April. Second start for the Rangers, he was pitching a no-hitter through through 5 innings, but he got taken out of the game, and the problem was that he was throwing a no-hitter and struck out 10 batters, but he walked 8 and threw 4 wild pitches, and I think 2 runs had scored at that point. So that gives you some idea what kind of pitcher he was. So he had a decent career. He was never really great. He still had control problems the whole time, but he did have a moderately long career. Ron Oster, Felix Fermin, Sandy Alomar. So that must be that's his official rookie card. Yeah. So 89 rookie, because he had 1 at bat in '88 for the Padres. Actually, going back to the Bobby Witt, thing. One of the reasons I remember this is because I do remember that in '86, because I was still in high school then, and I actually would look through the paper every day and would cut out any interesting box scores and hang them up on my wall. And I remember that one. That one really caught my interest. That such an extreme pitching performance. Gerald Young, John Shelby, Gary Gaetti, Dwight Gooden. So that's still pretty early in his career. Don Baylor, Tim Wallach, 1939 World Series. Who was 39? I want to say the Cardinals were in that. Is that right? What's the Yankees? Yankees sweep the Reds. Okay. Yeah. Jeff Robinson, Dennis Eckersley, Hall of Famer, Doug Sisk, Paul Austenmacher, Eric King, Dave Bergman, Otis Nixon, another speedster. One of those light-hitting stolen basers. Otis, a slap hitter with glittering speed. That's a very charitable description, I would say, of Nixon. Ron Oster, Felix Fermin, Sandy Alomar again. We had a repeat at the end of that pack. You can send away for a glossy set of young superstars. 10 wrappers and $5. Jose Uribe, Nick Esaski, Brian Downing, Don Baylor again, Dwight Gooden again, Brian Harvey, 1945. Okay, let's see. I think the Tigers, that was a war year, of course. I think the Tigers won the World Series that year. Let's see. No. Yeah, Tigers won the Tigers beat the Cubs 4-3 in the World Series. Charlie Huff, Kent Herbeck, Frank White again, Rance Mulliniks, Rick Anderson, Dave Palmer, Mike Laga, Chad Kruder, rookie, Dwight Smith, rookie, and Greg Jeffries. Another Billy Ripken, Pete O'Brien, Vaughn Hayes, Vince Coleman, major speedster there, Shane Raleigh, Wade Boggs, Hall of Famer, watching a pitch go by, which I guess is appropriate. He did walk a lot. Okay, 76. So this was the Reds beating the Yankees, the second of the Reds' 2 straight World Series. Calvin Schiraldi, Rick Mahler, Rich Gedman, Greg Cadaret, Tommy John again, Bobby Witt again, Fred Manrique, Chad Kruder again, Dwight Smith again, and Greg Jeffries. Got three Greg Jeffries. I said those might have been worth something at the time. Andy Allenson, Glenn Hubbard, Gary Pettis again. We got Barry Bonds. That's his 3rd-year card, I believe. Charlie Liebrandt, Glenn Braggs, 74. That was the A's. I already mentioned that was the A's winning their third straight World Series there. John Cerruti, Rafael Santana, Jeff Robinson, Steve Balboni, Mickey Tettleton, Steve Jeltz, Bobby Witt, Fred Manrique, Darryl Boston, and Sandy Alomar again. So interesting stuff there. These are good looking. These are pretty good looking cards, I think. Okay, now we've got a cello pack here. 29 cards, 1 stick of gum for the 89, and the gum nice and dry. Does not smell like gum though. So the 89, just like with Score, the best rookies here are Smoltz and Randy Johnson. Jose Canseco, that would have been a good card at the time. That was the first year he led the league in home runs. That was his 40-40 year, so that would have been a big card at the time. Chris Brown, Ozzie Guillen, Steve Farr, was it Bene? I don't remember. Darren Jackson, Willie Wilson, Buddy Bell, Ryan Sandberg All-Star. And they put leaders here, and he finished like tied for 6th in triples. Okay, Luis Aguayo, Jim Gott, Don Robinson. There's Ozzie Smith, All-Star. Probably stolen bases. Yeah, stolen bases. 3rd in the league with 57. Alan Anderson. Here's the Topps Company store. You can get a T-shirt. Wow. Mitch Williams. So the back of the cards, typical Topps. Calvin Schiraldi, Mike Henneman, B.J. Surhoff, Cecil Fielder. This is, yeah, he still hadn't played like a full season in the majors in 1 year yet. Jim Sundberg, Dwayne Ward, Bruce Sutter, Hall of Famer. That's good. Alan Trammell, another Hall of Famer. Andres Galarraga, the Big Cat. Gary Ward, Brett Saberhagen, Bo Diaz, Ron Darling, and Dave Cone. Okay, now the 88 Topps, and again I had to look this up. So the only Hall of Fame rookie in this is Tom Glavine. And just like the 87 set, they have this special All-Star commemorative set showing all the starters. So, and the managers, so we have Davey Johnson, Vince Coleman again, Tim Hewlett, Alan Trammell, Hall of Famer, Herm Winningham, Greg Walker, Rob Murphy, Jeff Reardon, good relief pitcher. There's, again, the typical Topps back. Tim Burke, Willie Wilson, Steve Farr, Greg Gagne, Cal Ripken Sr. manager card. That's also the team checklist. Nick Osaski and Len Dykstra. John Marzano, Garth Orge, Tom Henke All-Star card. He led the league in saves, American League in saves. Zane Smith, Twins leaders. So this is similar to what they did in '86, except that the players on the front are actually the leaders and not they're not in '86. They're the players who have been with the team the longest. Jeff Robinson, Damaso Garcia, Mariano Duncan, Tim Wallach All-Star, and notice here they have the parts of the picture going over, so the team name is in the background. I guess they're trying to get some kind of 3D thing going there. Charles Hudson, George Bell, Keith Atherton, Sid Fernandez, and Jose Lean, future stars. So this is his rookie card. Bob Knepper, the Astros leaders, and with that's Kevin Bass and that. That might be Billy Hatcher. I'm not quite sure. Dale Mahorsic, Nelson Liriano, Kirby Puckett, leading the league in hits, tied with Kevin Seitzer. Bruce Sutter, Hall of Famer. Eric Nolte, Tigers leaders. And of course, it's Kirk Gibson giving us an interesting look there. The other one, not sure. There's Bobby Witt again, Jim Gott, Mike Moore, Expos leaders, Dwayne Henry and Mark Gubza. So finally the 87s, and so 87s, the big rookie cards here, of course, are Barry Bonds, but also with, of course, Hall of Fame numbers, and Bo Jackson, who, of course, was a huge sensation at the time. So there's the Wally Joyner All-Star commemorative card. Rance Mulliniks, Ken Dixon, Mark Gubza. It's funny how we're getting these same players in the different years. Roger McDowell, Fred Lynn, Ernie Riles, Bruce Bochy, Tim Burke, Jose Rio, Floyd Yeomans, Larry McWilliams, Bruce Benedict, getting ready to bunt, Greg Harris, Mike Young, Rob Deere, Doug DeCinces, oh, Hall of Famer Wade Boggs, that's nice. Dave Magadan, Dick Hauser, Alvaro Espinoza, Frank DePino, Scott Bankhead, Tom O'Malley, Earl Weaver manager card, and that's the team checklist for the Orioles, Bruce Berenier, Rick Cerrone, Dwayne Ward, John I'm Not a Crook, Doug Sisk, Randy O'Neill, Bruce Sutter, Hall of Famer. It seems like we got him in all these years. Bob, Don't Call Me Shirley, Ron Hassey, Gene Walter, and finally, Giants leaders. Oh, we got it. We got the Barry Bonds. That's awesome. Just out of the one rack pack, we got a Barry Bonds. So that is his. That's his rookie card. Although he has. See, how did that work? There was a. Did he have a card? He had a card in the 80s. Did he have a card in the 86? In the 86 traded set? I'm not sure, but this is. But this is his main rookie card, so that's kind of neat. The card is a kind of got a little bit of a tilted cut there, but pretty cool. Rick Manning, Steve Ontiveros, Dale Mahorsic, Richard Dotson, Bill Buckner, Rich Gedman, Luis Aguayo, John Stefero, Dave Van Olen, Juan Bonilla, Frank White, Roger Clemens All-Star. Led the league in victories. 86 was an amazing year that Clemens had very early in his career, just his second year. Mike Laga, Charlie Kerfeld, and Greg Pryor. Now, what's the deal here? There's a big print error on that, but that's a funky looking color on his jersey. Do they really have like the pinkish lavender jerseys? I don't know. Greg Pryor. So anyway, that was pretty cool. We hit the Barry Bonds rookie. Again, nothing in here is super duper valuable, but that's okay. These were free, and so I thank the seller for those. And that was actually pretty cool. It's kind of fun to open that stuff. Again, this is toward the end of my original collecting career. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.